Welcome to HortTube. My name is Jim Putnam. This is the weekly landscape update video that I do on this house that I moved into in the late fall, just remodeling this landscaping in this backyard space so far. Today I'm just going to go through and show you all the plants that I've planted so far. This is Holly, and she will eat grass. No. People don't want to watch you eat grass every week. They don't want to watch you eat grass every week. Okay, sorry about that. She does eat grass every week, and if you followed my videos, there's many of them with her. I don't know why she grazes like a goat. So I'm going to walk through and show you the plants that I've put in the ground so far, because the last 2 weeks videos I've just been putting plants in the ground without talking about them. I purchased quite a few more pieces. I showed some in a video from Pine Knot Nursery a couple weeks ago, and I picked up a few more things since then. I'll also go through the light rack inside the house and show you the perennials and annuals and vegetable plants that have come up so far. But like I say, we're just going to do a quick walk around and I'll show you where we are at this point. I showed this in the March checklist video. There's a ton of daffodils along this side of the driveway over here. I'm going to divide these out across the yard or give some away. They don't bloom all that well just because they're so overcrowded over here. Coming across here, there's grass needs to be mowed. It's been so wet that I haven't mowed, but it does look great out. This is out here in the front yard. This big maple is coming out. You can see where it's had mushrooms growing in it right here. I've got to get it out soon. You can actually see, I mean, I think it's hollow probably right in there, and limbs are falling off of it, but it's got to come out very, very soon. I did put some lettuce bowls here. These steps, I'm going to pull the paint off of these and repaint them very soon, but I did put some lettuce out here on the front porch, and there's some pansies in there, but a squirrel decided that he wanted to play in the pansies, so I got to redo that. Over here is a Korean lilac, which won't be in the native section when we get to that point, but these are nice. This is a Miss Kim lilac. It's about 6 feet tall, maybe 4 or 5 feet wide. It'll bloom here in the next week or two. These are very short bloomed. I mean, like a week. They are amazing, and they are lilacs, but they're certainly not, up to the standard of the lilacs that you guys can grow up in the Northeast and in the North. So here's the ceiling that's gone in on the screen porch, and there's some lighting that's going in across the top right here. I put the photo on Instagram, messing around with that last night, and there's some. The bottom of the inside of it here has been done as well. There's a mess everywhere. You can see on the other side, all the lumber is covered out there, and then tools everywhere right here as this construction goes on. This is now a curved beam going across here like that, and there's going to be pieces coming down like that. That'll be how it'll look out. From this porch, I'm going to put lights over to that building. And then, that metal building right there is going to be gone, but there will be something over there that I can attach lights to. There's going to be a greenhouse in that corner, so it may be the greenhouse. But there'll be lighting going across the yard as well. So here's the collection of plants that haven't gone in or aren't going in. I've got one of those It's a Breeze roses right here. I can't wait for that thing to start blooming. That's a ground cover, a new ground cover red flowering rose that should put on quite a show. I showed it, I think, in the fall at the old house. I've got some blueberries down here, and several camellias left. I'm going to do a how to plant a camellia video, and I think that the rouge one right there will be the one that will go in on that. There's a sunshine ligustrum, another camellia. I've got this bonfire encore azalea that's blooming. I have several agapanthus. There's a purple, kind of a bluish purple one there, and more of a solid purple ever amethyst right there, and then there's that ever white is right there. And I have been taking these inside. I received them, they were blooming, and so I have on the nights below freezing, they've gone inside. Otherwise the flowers would have been knocked back. The plants would have been fine, but they definitely would have stopped flowering at this point. There's a couple boxes of plants with some hellebores and other things that are in a video from a tour at Pine Knot Nursery about maybe a week or so ago. That video went up. If you want to know the plants that are in that box, I went down to Plant Delights Nursery, their open house this weekend, and got a few things here as well. I got another cast iron plant right here, another aspidestra that's a spotted one. I had gotten a striped one right here. These are for the shade. That stars and stripes right there last week at Pine Knot. And I got several basic, just salvia butterfly bush. I'm trying to get some things that will guarantee me some color back here this first year. And it may be that some of it comes out later, but I want this first year to really have quite a bit of color. I got this little cryptomeria right here called Twinkle Toes. Look how neat that thing is. This is an acanthus right here. Let's see what else we have over here. I've got this other cryptomeria that I got last year called Lemonade. And there's a David viburnum here that I haven't planted. It's definitely going in. I've got a palm over here. I haven't decided. I don't think it's really going to fit into what I'm doing in this backyard space, so it'll go in on a landscape job or something like that. Okay, that's things that haven't been planted yet. There's a video going up tomorrow on how to plant a shrub. It's 15 minutes long. It's probably too long, but it's pretty detailed. I wanted people to get a pretty good understanding, but it's that sunshine ligustrum is what I planted in that video. And since you guys on Wednesday are my insiders that watch, that keep up with what I'm doing here, I meant to plant this about here. And somehow I dug the hole here. I was concentrating so hard on making sure I got the information across that I actually planted it too far back up in here. I'm just going to keep this one cone shaped. I am moving it to here. I couldn't move it right after I finished because I watered it so thoroughly. So I can move it today. I'll move it out a little bit, but it is actually planted in the wrong place. Here's that Distilleum, that jewel box Distilleum. I think I've got a 2-minute video on that plant. Buddy Lee that did Encore Azaleas. That's his variety. But look how nice and compact this thing is. Beautiful blue-green foliage on it. That plant's going to be wildly popular. These are some Everillo Carex. I'm going to get a third one right there, or divide one of these. A couple of Encore Azaleas that I planted in videos for that. The cold has knocked the flowers back, but they actually still have some buds on them. The buds that didn't open yet will still bloom this spring. Let's see. We've got this mood ring podocarpus right here. The new growth on this will be pink, kind of a pinkish red during the season, but it's a really beautiful plant. And again, that building's going to go. All this stuff over here, all this debris will go. New fence is going in. For those of you who might be finding this video, watching this as your first video, there's a white wedding hydrangeas here. These will be solid white by May. Don't look like much now while they're dormant. And this is that golden Oakland holly. And yes, I eventually will take tags off. I've been so busy that I've just been popping plants in the ground without taking the tags off. These are 3 sunburst Encore Azaleas right here in the front. This is that pink and white variegated one. The 2 that are behind right here are actually called Starlight. They're not being introduced until next year. Starburst has kind of a pink in the center and white on the edge, and Starlight is kind of the opposite of it. It's got a little bit more white in the flower. They should look good together. Excited about that plant. That's, like I say, it's a new release for next year. I've got the purple diamond loropetalum here. I have plans here probably for some sort of variegated abelia. There's a red bud that's going right here. Tons of flowers, perennials and things will be plugged into all these spaces. You'll see those seedlings in just a minute. A few more of those Everillo Carex. This is that dwarf white loropetalum right here. This is a dwarf pittosporum, and it will stay reasonably small. That thing really likes well-drained soil. There's a little bit of a slope here, and I'm hoping that will help that plant out. In the past, I sometimes have issues with dwarf pittosporum. Upright or larger growing pittosporum, no problem at all, but sometimes they can be finicky. I've got, you can see in here a little bit closer, there's peonies coming up right here. These were actually over by one of the gates, and I moved them over here and divided them. I shot that video, and it'll be up soon. And then I planted ones in here that I bought that were packaged, and I planted container one that I had brought from the old house. So this video will be how to dig up and divide peonies, how to plant ones you get from the store, and how to transplant them from containers. Probably will be too long, as a lot of my videos are. There's a autumn lilac, encore azalea. This will be the, I think, what, 1, 2, I have 5 varieties of encore azaleas back here, and I did that on purpose. I don't have a tremendous number of them. I only have 1, 2. There's only 8 pieces, but having planted 5 different colors, I'm in all likelihood going to have blooms for a very long period of time. They won't all bloom at the exact same time, if that makes any sense. Here's a dwarf camellia. This is one of the Southern Living Plant Collection ones right here, called October Magic Ruby. That may be my favorite of the smaller growing, more compact Camellia sasanquas. Here's that Diamond Spire gardenia. This is another one of Buddy Lee's introductions, and this is an upright, narrow growing gardenia. Look how beautiful this foliage is. Yeah, I can't wait to see this thing. Can't wait to see this thing bloom. There's some soft caress Mahonia planted here, and I don't know where my shade line is going to be. I mean, it's new to this house, and I have no idea in July how much sun's going to be in this space. If it's a little too much, I may have to jump them across this little path to the other side, or maybe just right. I have no idea. The shade line is going to be somewhere in here, where by midday the trees in the back are going to take over. Here's a fringe tree planted here called Tokyo Tower. It's just an upright, narrow fringe tree. Should be really interesting. I'm going to have the upright, narrow redbud there, upright, narrow fringe tree here. I'm going to put a weeping deodar cedar right there. There was one at Brie Arthur's house in that video that I did at her house, and there's going to be a water feature right here, so that weeping deodar cedar will be right there. And I haven't figured out my 4th piece here, but I'm going to put another upright, narrow thing in as well. Let's see. This is an Akuba japonica that I got on a nursery tour I did at my friend C&J Nursery, and it was in a group of gold dust Akuba, and it has very different spotting on it, so I wanted to pick it up and grow it out. I'm pretty sure it'll be something new or different. We'll see how the variegation looks in time. Okay, there's some black mondo here. Typically wouldn't use mondo grass. I don't like things that creep around the yard a whole lot. Like, as an example, that ivy that I've got to get rid of when I replace this fence back here. But the black mondo grows so slow, it'll be fine. There's a Marvel Mahonia here. If you can go back and watch this video, this is a spectacular flowering Mahonia. There's an Elysium here, and this is just a native Elysium. I want to get a red one as well. I'll put a scarlet one in here at some point during the season, but this is the regular Elysium that's native to the southeast. Smells like licorice. There's a couple rhodias I have here. I did these an unboxing video from Mr. Maple. That's where those rhodias came from, and I went on a rhodia hunt this weekend to find more varieties, and I didn't find anything that was interesting enough, but I'm going to do a collection of rhodias in here and various cast iron plants in the shady space in the back. Here's this is that early wonder camellia that has the super early blooming Camellia japonica, big, giant, beautiful pink flowers on it. There's a cryptomeria here that I planted. I think that's about the first video I did here. There's a playlist for this house called New House, and any video that I've put up that includes things that have gone in the ground here, you know, it's in that playlist. And here's the lettuce that I put in last week and protected with these hoops. The rest of the vegetables are going back into this area. This was all going to be fruit plants here. Those blueberries, there's a fig going in right there. Another camellia that I planted right here in front of this door. So a ton of seed has been started inside, as you can see right here on this light rack. I've got a video on my channel on how to build this grow light rack if you want to go back and take a look at that. And I've got some seed that will just be direct sown as well. This is a combination of the vegetables will go in that vegetable garden area, and then I've got a lot of flowering things. There's some zinnias here and some cosmos. Some of it will be short bloomed. The zinnias will bloom all summer here, but it gets super hot here, and some of these things will kind of quit on me, which is fine, because a lot of what I'm looking for here is just to fill in some space while I hunt for some other things that I'd like to have in this yard. There's some sweet alyssum here. I don't remember. There's some straw flowers there, and some of these things I don't remember by just looking at this foliage just coming up. Oh, these are marigolds that are coming up there. There's some dahlias here. These have to be thinned. I've got to thin these down to one seedling. They're just coming up. I use multiple seeds. They'll get thinned down to one in each cell, but there's dahlias there. There's a hibiscus here. I certainly don't need 10 of these. I'll thin them out and then maybe give a couple of those away to neighbors. And there's some echinacea on the end. There's some delphiniums that have come up right here. Down here in this section is a lot of more vegetables. There's the tomatoes have come up mostly in these two trays here. And let's see, what is come up over here? There's some dill that I'll basically just do for flowers right there. And there's some celosia that's come up there. That's lobelia. There's some coleus, various colors of coleus, but just lots of flowering. There's some black-eyed Susans that have come up, and what else do I have down here? Sorry. There's some ageratums, and peppers. The peppers are in this end right here, bell peppers. And let's see, there's some Dusty Miller right here just for some foliage color. There's some lupins here. This is beautiful foliage right out of the gate when they germinate. They have beautiful foliage on them. Some more delphiniums here. So just a wide variety of things, and I have a lot of seed that I'm just going to direct seed out there in spaces that may take a little more time to figure out what's going in. So there'll be lots and lots of flowering things going in this yard. So those of you who've been following along with this all along know how far this has come in a pretty short period of time. Here we are right here at the first week of March, and I really didn't dig into this until December, really. So it's come a long way in a hurry. And like I say, if you'll go to that playlist I have called New House, you can go back and see. And I did a lot of the early videos from a drone, so you can see how the actual layout is back here and where the paths are going to be and all that kind of stuff. When this porch project is out of the way, we'll start planting all up toward the house as well. And some of the pieces over there are probably marked for that, and I'll continue to collect things as we go. So thanks for following along.